Camera's rolling. Yep. Looking good. Right. And we're going to be rocking now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hi everyone, this is Lindsay Donald here. I'm sure you have read the blurb above on this crowdfunding page, and I thought it wise that I make the short home video and insert it on my page regards to obtaining funds to have 5,000 copies of Portrait of a Legend and other folks printed. Now, some of you will know the book has already been printed and published, but the book that I've created is unique because I will tell you the printer, Bookbinders of London, who have been in business for over 150 years in the same building, the manager, and it's a family business by the way, the manager has told me, he said, Lindsay, you are unique because, first of all, the size book that I have, they don't do 10 copies. Now, so far, I've had 20 copies of the book printed. But because the production value of this book is very high, it costs a bit of money to have a very few copies printed. One of the things, you know, that has been a bugbear is educating people how economy works. The more of a product that you have made, the cheaper the production cost is, and the less is the opposite, the more expensive is it. Some people have already bought a copy of the book, and I'm very fair. In everything I do, I try to be fair. What's going to happen is this: those who have already bought a copy of the book, once I've accumulated the funds on this site to get the 5,000 copies printed, I intend to reimburse them the difference minus the postage of the book. And I'm going to contact each of them very shortly and let them know. But in a way, I have to thank them because with their help, I'm able to claim that the book is already out there in the market. Now, another thing people do not understand is this: big companies, massive companies, global companies, they depend on what I'm asking you people to do. On here, they call it contribution. It's not. It's in fact an investment. And when you invest something, you actually logically believe you should get something back, because if you do plant a seed that bears fruit, and it does bear fruit, you are entitled to eat some of that fruit. Now, there are different criteria as you see on the page. Minimum contribution I'm asking for is £25. Because of logic, it will not really enable somebody, if they do contribute £25 to get a copy of your book, because again, it will be above the cost of what the book is for them to get a copy. And it's wise for people to realize that if they are going to make a contribution, they're doing it, A, to help me, but at the same time, I will, in fact, give them back something, because for £25, I'll be sending them, here we go. This is the original shirt now with the new cover, and they will get two of these, okay? That's the minimum investment. And by the way, here, this is a copy of the new design, because This design here was the original design I was going to do, but I changed it because it just didn't look right. And also, this prototype contains 260 pages. The final book is 300 pages. And that again added cost to the final product. Now, I know that people complain and say, oh, times are hard, etc., and it is hard for everybody. And this is why now, before I was hoping I could get the funds from one source, but it seems I cannot. So it is better then to get a small amount from a lot of people, and that way I can accumulate the funds to have 5,000 copies printed. And also, if you read the proposal on the page, once somebody has made over £1,000 contribution, they will then be entitled to have a share of whatever these books make. And if I can have 5,000 copies printed, and I sell the book now at the correct retail price, because the people who bought the book before, they paid well way over the odds of the actual retail price. But that was simply, again, it was costing me nearly £100 to print one copy. And people don't understand. I was paying the printer £100 because I was only having 10 copies of this book done, and it is a very high production value book, so it costs a high amount of money. If I can get 5,000 copies printed, everything has been shrunken. And this is what this whole idea of me now coming on the crowdfunding site, because I have told people I was very reluctant to be on a crowdfunding site. One of the reasons were there are hundreds of other people on this site also wanting the same thing, whether from you or out there. They want people to invest in them. And this is basically what this is about. You are making an investment in me with this book. Okay? Right? This is basically what you're doing. You are investing in a book which I've been putting out there. I've had nobody counteract me. This book probably contains 30 of probably some of the last unpublished photographs of Bob Marley. And this is my key selling point for this book. For over 2 years, I've been saying that. I've seen the Marley family, and no one has yet refuted me. So that is my main calling card in trying to get people to be interested, not only in investing in the book, but also for them to buy the book in the end. Something I gotta tell you, it's a couple of weeks ago, I read, and I won't say the name, but there's a very big social media network site, and the owner is a young guy who has billions of dollars. And the other day I heard this site bought a company for $2 billion. 2 billion, yeah? And then a couple of days later, I see this social media site asking people on the site to invest $50 into them. Now, I'm sure a lot of people on the site have put their $50 in. But the thing that really puzzled me was I started to learn how the wider masses think. If you could have afforded to spend $2 billion to buy something, why are you now asking people to give you $50 to invest in you? Then it hit me, it's that, oh, we've made money so we can make more money. That is probably true. But at the same time, if you had $2 billion to buy something, are you broke? Well, I'm broke because I haven't got the funds to get 5,000 copies printed. And I'm now looking £65,000. Now, as I said, I have seen it's not going to come from one source. This is why I'm on a crowdfunding site. This is why I'm asking anyone who's looking at this now or have been on the site to think if they can make a contribution in the different boxes and you put in and you'll get something out. Because the 5,000 copies that we will get printed, I've given myself 3 years to sell them. And if you've put in above the requirement to get a return on your investment, you probably ask me to print more, and I would like to print more because I'm not going to say if the book could not even sell 1 million copies. I hope it does, but and if it does before I go upstairs, then that's good. But once this book is taken off, and at the price it will take off at now, it will be sold. It will be sold. You know, this has been my work for 30 or 35 years, and the last 5 years it took me to put this together. Okay, so it's not that I'm not after money. We all need money, but this was never about money. This was about here doing something. This was my work. And when you do your work, sometimes you do it out of love and you do it out of consideration for others, because at the end of the day, we all must first look after ourselves. But once we've done that, our duty is to try and help look after others. And I did say, if I become successful with this book, which I will, I intend to donate some of whatever I make to the Maxwell Park Children's Home, and that's in Kingston, Jamaica, because they do a very sterling job and they are under pressure. So, you know, you're helping me and I can help somebody else, and that's the way it goes. That, you know, it's a cycle, yeah? So I really would like everyone to think about this now. You start from £25 right up to £10,000. A lot of you will say, man, I've got £10,000. There are actually people out there with more than £10,000. But the thing is, what do they do with their money? About 6 months ago, I don't know if you know, when the new Xbox came out, £700 I think. And a lot of kids really who, presumably one would say their parents are not working and they haven't got any money, they queued up for 2 days to get this. And I was wondering, hang on, you haven't got any money, yet you got enough money to buy a new console, £700. And this is when you look at a lot of things and you see the anomaly between whatever, you know, the whole paradox then. Because people confuse value with price. You know, and I've always said, you know, if your grandmother gave you a comb, or your great-grandmother gave you a comb that's been in your family for 200 years, everyone knows it probably carries more intrinsic value to them than a new Mercedes or a new Rolls Royce. And that is the essence of value. We value things differently, and we have a price on different things that we know we would spend our money on. The same way that I really don't see that I could spend my money on £200 Nike. I buy mine at the market for about £15. But I'm sure if I could afford it, I'd probably get one. But then again, we see people, we think, oh, they can't afford it, and they wear the most expensive gift. So that's life. I'm not here really to talk about that. I'm really here to ask you to think about what I'm saying. I would like you to invest in this book. I would like you to invest in I think I have a very good product here. It hasn't really been out there. A lot of people really don't know about this. And this is now my way, our way, that we can show them, look, this book is different than the rest, and it is. So I'm asking you, please, think about it, make a contribution, and let's make this book strong, yeah? And also, I will insert everybody who's made a contribution. I will have to go back to the designer to have every name put into this book. So that means your name will be in this book forever. And that's the way it is, all right? So thank you. God bless. One love. Peace, everyone. All right.